Hey everyone, Gearhead Geek here, and today I'm going to be bringing you something a little bit different from what I've done in the past. Gonna do a quick little rundown here on Renewal Grasps and their setup for PvE, and really just gonna kind of look at the basics of what makes this setup work and tick, without getting into the super complex gameplay loops and different ways you can build it out for different situations and things like that. But really just looking at the underpinnings of the build, just kind of quick and dirty, with the hopes that this could kind of inspire folks to build upon it, twist it different ways. I'll say in terms of the target audience for this video, probably going to be players that have a little bit of experience in the game with the mod system, understand build crafting a little bit, versus newer players who may need a little bit more hand holding with some of the gameplay loops and things like that. With that, let's dive right into things and take a look. So starting off with our subclass, obviously Revenant Hunter, the basics: Gambler's Dodge, get our melee back, dodging your enemies, jump of your choice, I like triple jump, melee, Withering Blade, because, it's stasis and we have Withering Blade, hooray, and grenades, Duskfield. Probably goes without saying with Renewal Grasps, but this is the grenade that, Renewal Grasps are built around. Whole part of this build, the whole thing of this build is you throw a Duskfield down, you either stand inside of it and get crazy damage resist, or throw it near an enemy, get an enemy inside of it, you'll lower their damage output, and obviously you get the damage resist when you're standing inside of it, as well as your teammates getting damage resist standing inside of it. Really, really awesome exotic. Great for higher end content, especially come GM season. Not going to be showing off higher end content in this. Really, again, just talking about the basics of the build, not how to use it in different situations. But yeah. Anywho, so we have our Duskfield grenade. From there, Touch of Winter. This buffs the living heck out of our Duskfields, makes them even bigger than what Renewal Grasps does on its own. Gives them larger stasis crystal as well too, and gives us 2 fragment slots. And from there, Grim Harvest gives us 3 fragment slots, and obviously has the benefit of defeating slowed or frozen combatants, creates stasis shards. Now I will say you can swap this out if you want to run Shatter Dive. You'll give up a fragment slot there. Not the end of the world if you don't want to go with this and want to twist, shift the build up a little bit. As I said, that's what this is all about. Is here's the fundamentals of the build. You spin it how you want to spin it. But at the very least, you absolutely need Touch of Winter in there. You can go without it, but you're really just nerfing the build on your own by not using this. Taking a look at fragments, Whisper of Chains. While you're near frozen targets or friendly stasis crystal, you take reduced damage from targets, because this is all about stacking DR and staying alive that way. Whisper of Durance, slowly apply targets last longer. Abilities that linger, duration will also increase. Duskfields will stick around longer. Obviously, slow lasts longer on enemies. Very critical there. Whisper of Shards, shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate. It's probably a given as to why we do this, right? We're trying to boost our grenades, get them back as quick as we can, so we can just chain the living heck out of these things. Whisper of Torment, you can swap this out if you want to, but getting grenade energy each time you take damage from targets, you're going to take damage from targets, so why not get grenade energy out of it, right? And the last one, absolutely you can swap out if you want. If you ditch Winter Shroud or Grim Harvest, then there's no reason to run this at all. Whisper of Rhyme, collecting a stasis shard grants a small amount of overshield, falls off after 10 seconds. This did get nerfed into the ground a while ago, so it's really not critical to have on here. In fact, once we have in-game loadouts back, since they are currently disabled on us, I'll probably be playing around with some different options here and taking this out of the mix, because it gives that little bit of extra overshield, a little bit of extra, staying alive, but it's not super needed. That said, there is other reason to run Grim Harvest even without this. We'll talk about that in just a second. While we're here, just talking about stats real quick. In PvE, which is what we're focusing on, 100 Resil, it's given, right? These days Bungie allows us to get the crazy damage resistance from it. Take advantage of it, right? From there, second priority is going to be grenade energy, right? Trying to get our grenades back quick. And then from there, it's up to you. I like having mobility. Just because you get your class ability back quicker, gives you more opportunity to dodge, to get your melees back. as well as trigger certain other things within the build. You can go recovery if you want, drop some mobility, however you want to play it for the rest of them. But PvE build, 100 Brazil, and then in this particular case, 100 discipline. Those are the two must-haves. From there, I'd say pick your priority between mobility and recovery. So that said, taking a look at the actual mods that we're going to run. Now again, I'm just kind of focusing on the absolute basics here. When I run this build, I do obviously toss a few other mods on, swap in powerful friends, radiant lights, whatever for the situation you're using. If you want to, be taking care of armor charge, for your teammates, helping them out, heavy ammo finder, scout, whatever. But taking a look at the basics, just the things we really want to make this tick. So we want to start off with the siphon mod. I'm going to be using a solar siphon because I'm going to be using a solar weapon. Very nice thing about this build, you can really run whatever the heck you want. Obviously pairs nicely with stasis weapons. Weapons with headstone, great extra crystals, more opportunities to get ability energy back. But you don't need to use them. Arms, these are pretty critical, right? So we got a grenade kickstart. Obviously we're going to get armor charges, we're going to throw a grenade, it's going to feed back into getting our grenade back quickly. Impact induction, I really like this on here. Causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. We get 2 melee charges with our withering blade. There is a cooldown between activations, I believe it's 7 seconds, so you do want to pace these. You don't want to throw both your melees at once, but this can be really, really useful if you find yourself in a spot where you need to get a good chunk of grenade energy back. You can utilize your melee for that, and then obviously when your melees run out, you have your dodge, where you can get your melees back if you're dodging your enemies, or if you are generating stasis shards, those will give you melee energy back as well. From there, focusing strike grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a melee attack, right? So it feeds back into that loop of getting our class ability back so we can dodge when we need to get our melee back. Yeah. Chest, run whatever the heck you want. I generally run through resist mods if I'm pairing this with Lament, which is a very, very incredibly fun combo, especially in content where you have barriers, right? Toss a dusk field down, get the damage resist, lower their damage output, and then just lament the living heck out of them. So much fun. But yeah, really run whatever you want there. Legs, you can shift this up. This is the setup I like to go with. Obviously, if you're not generating stasis shards, there's no need for it, but elemental charge, we can get armor charge from picking up those stasis shards. Very handy. Innervation, reduce our grenade cooldown when we pick up an orb of power. Goes without saying, feeding into that kind of grenade spam. Recuperation, I like this. Get your health back when you pick up an orb of power. Not necessarily needed. Obviously, if you build really high into recovery, there's probably not much use for this, but yeah, I really like having it on there, and especially in the orb meta that we're in since the launch of Lightfall, right? It's basically just constant healing for you, especially in team activities. Class item. I'll start with what is completely optional, Powerful Attraction. I like to run it into my builds. I didn't pull this one off of there just because I think a lot of people will like this as well too, especially with how much we're dodging. It's a great way to pick up all those orbs around you, but you can swap this out, toss Time Dilation on there if you want, or whatever. Reaper, I feel, is pretty critical on this. Again, we're going to be dodging a bunch. Dodge, get a weapon kill, make an orb of power, feeds back into everything. And then Bomber. Notice I only have one copy of this on here. The diminishing returns on Bomber are huge for any more than one mod. It's not even really worth it. I want to say it's like you get an extra like couple percent from the second mod versus the main chunk that you get from the first mod. So yeah, just one of those on there, and that's it. Weapon loadout, I'm going to be, right now I've got on a Wither Horde, no survivors, demo incandescent. I'm going to show a small little bit of gameplay footage like I did in my last video, just within the beginning of Duality. I am going to use this. Using a demo weapon, strongly recommend it with this, because again, we're all about getting that grenade energy back as quick as we can. That said, you don't have to use one by any means. It's still going to go very, very quickly, but it definitely feeds into everything by having demo on whatever weapon you're using. And then obviously just have a sword on too, doesn't really matter. Yeah, so let's take a look at a quick little bit of gameplay footage similar to what I had in my last video. Alright, so now we're back in the entrance to Duality. I showed this in my last video about this. Just going to show real quick kind of what the grenade spam looks like. Obviously not super hard content or anything like that, but still shows off well how this can roll with some actual enemies to be killing. Even though it is easy content, this does also work quite well in GMs. Once those drop, plus you give a lot of support to your team too. So it's a very, very strong build in GMs, but not the purpose of this video. Let me just kind of again show you real quick how this rolls when you have some enemies around, and we'll go from there. Trigger the bell. Okay, so we're going to start off, and we're just going to toss a dust field down, freeze them. I'm just going to sit here. You see we have the resist. We take like nothing for damage. Because we have crazy resist. Let's shatter that crystal, kill them. Get some improved ability regeneration. Throw a melee, get our grenade back. Okay. And I'm not really trying right now. If I actually shoot stuff here, we can see how quickly things come back with the ability regeneration, tossing our melees out, putting a grenade down. I suppose I should dodge, make myself an orb, and get some health back. Go over here. Let this guy step in, shatter that, do some damage, reload. As you can see, I mean, we can spam these things, and this isn't even really ad dense right here. So, yeah, Renewal Grasps are definitely back to life. Once again, a very, very viable exotic and build. And definitely worth checking out, doing a build for, and kind of expanding upon what I've laid out here. Has a lot of different uses for a lot of different situations. And yeah, I hope you check it out and try it out. Alright, so that's going to wrap things up for this video. What'd you think? Did you find this useful? Did you find it to be a complete waste of your time? Let me know down in the comments. If you did like it, please drop a like on the video, and a subscribe. It's always appreciated as well too. But yeah, let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I'm happy to do them if folks find value. I'd also add at the same time, if you watched this and you're looking for more, right? If this is not the kind of video you're looking for, if you're looking for something that goes over more of the gameplay loops and more custom detailed tunings in terms of mods and really how to dive into it and play, with the build more, that's not going to be the target of these videos, and I'd strongly suggest checking out Mactix's build videos. I know he's working on one for this, but he really makes some great build videos that go way further into those sorts of things. So if that's what you're looking for, go check him out. But if you like this kind of video, the short and sweet, just kind of base foundation to give you an idea for how to build out a build from there. Wow, that sounds really redundant. Let me know, because I'm something I'm trying out, and if y'all like it, I'm happy to make more. Anywho's, I'll cut things there, stop rambling. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day or evening.